Welcome back to Sonic Colors. Today we're going to take on the last world of the game, which obviously is the trickiest and aesthetically the darkest level in the game. Let's hop aboard the Asteroid Coaster.
Does this actually count as the last world, technically?
Well, yes, because the last one, you could kind of count it as last story.
I guess so. Now, I gotta say, just right off the bat, I freaking love this theme.
It's pretty good. I'm not a fan of Asteroid Coaster though. It's far too dark for my taste.
Ah, blasphemy. See, this is what makes Asteroid Coaster work as a final level. Because it looks, you know, his final levels are meant to be dark. They're meant to be kind of like, in terms of story, they're meant to be like the bleakest point for the hero to traverse through. And Asteroid Coaster does that in spades. I mean, this place kind of looks like a roller coaster based in hell. I mean, just the spikes everywhere, like the weird kind of green lava. And okay, here's our first introduction to Frenzy, an awesome theme aside. Tom, do you want to get into exactly what Frenzy is, or wait until the cutscene?
Well, I'll explain what Frenzy does. Basically, the more you eat or destroy, the bigger you get. And yeah, it controls about as well as it looks.
In 3D, it doesn't control the best. Although I would like to say Frenzy is probably one of the most fun wisps to play as, just because you completely destroy the shit out of everything.
And it's fun to imitate its theme. Now
the roller coaster segment here kind of gives me a slight vibe of the roller coaster section of Twinkle Park from SA1.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
Only this one, as you can see, you can actually switch between the two. You actually, the one in Twinkle Park, you're kind of just stuck in stationary style, but this one you actually move around and stuff. I mean, so apart from how it looks, Tom, how do you feel about Asteroid Coaster? Because I think it's actually one of the most fun levels to play through.
Difficulty-wise, it's perfect for a final level, but I don't know, it kind of reeks of Shadow the Hedgehog to me. The rest of the game was all colourful and whatnot, and then it suddenly drops down a notch, and the presentation of it all just kind of reminds me of like the post-adventure days.
Well, see, I kind of like it because it kind of helps the game not become stagnant in terms of its visual approach. I mean, that's awesome. The fact that he's homing attacking through planets and asteroid belts is amazing.
Yeah, this is pretty visually stunning, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, as we spoke about in Starlight Carnival, doesn't really make a lick of sense in terms of. Oh no, this is one of my favourite ways to die in this game when you fall through the ceiling.
Fall up into the sky.
Exactly, like it doesn't really make sense how like Sonic. I mean, again, something like this I like because it reminds me of Death Egg Zone from 3 and K. Yes, you know, like messing with gravity and stuff. It's just amazing, and just I love how evil the narrator gets. She's like Frenzy. All the others, she's like Laser.
Godless abomination.
Exactly. He's like, you know, fun and frolic. Frenzy. You will die.
Okay, this is a cool end to a level, I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. Now, like, kid, if you so choose, you can kind of run around it, which obviously makes people remember things like Galaxy. You know, like all of these little planets have their own kind of like gravitational field, which some people may say is ripping off Galaxy. But if you remember, SA2 did that first. Admittedly, incredibly badly, but they still did it first.
Mad space, mad space, mad space, it's a mad space!
I went to space and left my horse.
Apparently the line is, I went to space and left my home.
Doesn't make any sense though.
No.
What do you think of the basic theme of Asteroid Coaster? This is the basic theme, Acts 1, 2 and 3, done by Kenichi Toko, sound director for the game.
Well, when I was saying it was kind of like post-adventure or whatnot, you know, just in terms of like presentation values, the sound is kind of more reminiscent of the adventure games as well, with like heavy usage of guitars and the like.
When I believe the music track first premiered, and I believe it was the 4th trailer that Sega brought out, and a lot of people did. This was back when we didn't actually know who was doing the sound directing, or like who was doing any of the composing. But when people heard Asteroid Coaster, a lot of people assumed it was June.
Yeah.
Because it actually kind of like in terms of the music, a lot of people have made the distinction. Also the thought that it kind of sounds a lot more akin to the music that was being composed for Sonic Adventure 1. Which in turn was trying to slightly emulate the Mega Drive. Like not so much sound design, but in terms of like melodies and stuff. And so it took like Asteroid Coaster I think would have fit perfectly at home on SA1.
Maybe, yeah. That's like it kind of reminds me of that one area of Twinkle Park where you're go-karting.
Yeah, I love this thing. It just sounds like some music from something like Demented Rave. It's genius.
And then that giant purple thing comes out of nowhere and eats everyone. And no, I ain't talking about Barney.
Exactly. I mean, just imagine like the purple frenzy. Just imagine if the Incredible Hulk, right, was purple, and his penis was adjacent from his body, and that's kind of what frenzy is.
That's terrifying, Gary.
Exactly, and that's actually the plot of the Avengers. Spoiler alert.
I have an army. We have a frenzy.
Yeah, we have a. That would be amazing. We have frenzy. Dun 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 dun.
Oh, by the way, if you're in front of these things when they come forward, they'll push you off the stage, which kind of goes back to Eggman Land from the 360 version of Unleashed.
Exactly. It's basically just being trolled by the game, which is genius.
I hated that shit, especially since those platforms laugh at you as they push you out. Losing is one thing, but being mocked by the game is something I can't handle.
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the egg pawns don't have anything special in this one. I think they just hold guns. I think that guy there just got like a sword.
A spike club, I'd say, yeah.
Spike!
Club!
That'd be amazing if like in like the next game, Eggman just gives him a bunch of like weapons. Sword! Knife! Spork!
Gat!
Now I keep waiting for my favourite level. Is it this one? It's the one I made like 4 references to in this playthrough.
Well, since it uses wisps, it can't do.
Oh yeah, good point. Oh well.
Well, I can hear the goal ring already.
Yeah, I think Asteroid Coaster, I would imagine because it was the last level, and I imagine they probably either running out of time or stuff, does feature some of the shortest levels. But it also features some of the levels that actually revolved the most actual like puzzles and platforming in terms of getting all the red rings and stuff.
I just don't really care for it. It's just like, you say it looks nice and whatnot, but you spend the majority of your time inside, which is a problem I actually have with the Generations version of Planet Wisp.
Well, yeah, in that regards, it's kind of similar to Starlight Carnival, in whereas the outside looks far more better than the inside did.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. Just for whatever reason, I just think it doesn't bother me as much in Asteroid Coaster.
Would you say the music plays a part in that decision?
I think so, because again, I love the theme of Starlight Carnival, but Asteroid Coaster just freaking fantastic.
Indeed, indeed.
I love the map theme. Sounds like something else. The map theme sounds like really heavy metal. It's like it's something that you haven't really, outside of maybe Almost Dead from Shadow the Hedgehog, like this type of guitar, you don't really hear a lot in Sonic games.
I think this might be the level you were talking about.
Yes, now, yes, I think it is. For whatever reason, yeah, for whatever reason, I love this stage. I think it's such a nice, interesting gimmick. All you do pretty much is just race motorbugs. I mean, it's so simple. It's genius.
It is pretty simple, yeah, but don't forget you need to press a switch on the track in order to get the goal ring to appear. Otherwise, you'll just keep going round in circles forever.
But I mean, I like this because this is like, you know, like Sonic going one-on-one with the first enemy he ever encounters. There's Motorbug's mother, which, you know, if you take her down, the family falls.
What, do they die of depression or some shit?
Well, you know, it's kind of like a more realistic version of Bambi. The mother's gone, so they're like, fuck it. May as well commit suicide.
Your mother is gone, Motobug.
Your mother can't be with you, Motobug. End your life. And that's why Disney doesn't let Sega write Disney films.
Speaking of Disney, Eggman is going to be appearing in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes, he will. Although Mike Pollock has been, we're not sure if Mike Pollock is going to be voicing him, but put that one on hold for a second. This is so, if you really think about it, this is so messed up. Essentially what happens is, as earlier as Eggman says, he wants to harness the hyper-go-on energy from the wisps. What happens is that he basically sucks up all the wisps, sucks out their hyper-go-ons, and then because the wisps have been drained of their energy, they actually create the frenzy wisps. Frenzy wisps aren't natural. They're kind of a Eggman-made wisp that are just evil and all kinds of messed up.
Well, not particularly evil per se, but just like freaks.
Look at them! They're evil bastards! The evil wisps whose only desire is to kill and destroy.
Well, how do you explain the Void Wisp in the DS version then?
The Void Wisp is the Void Wisp is pretty much just the DS version of Frenzy. It's essentially the same thing, although in the DS version they flat out say that, like, you know, when the wisps have their energy drained out from them, then they become voids, whereas this version, for whatever reason, decides not to flat out say it. Not sure why that is, but it's really, I do appreciate this game, because I think this game struck the perfect balance in terms of making Eggman a credible threat, in the sense that he does fucked up things, but they don't make him one-note. They don't make him just kind of evil, it's like he was saying in 06. They give him humour, but it's not humour at the expense of his character like they did in Heroes and Unleashed to a certain extent.
Definitely, yeah.
It's more like, I like the fact that they brought in kind of Orbot and Cubot to do the kind of like the wacky city type humour, and like most of Eggman's humour comes from just, he's basically the straight man, and it's like how he reacts to like the idiocy of Orbot and Cubot.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
Which I think, you know, I hope Orbot and Cubot come back in any game post Generations. I mean, obviously they're referenced in Generations, but they don't actually do anything in it. You just see them in one of the cutscenes. But you know, I hope they bring them back, because I think that it's a perfect balance of how to manage Eggman's character.
Well, Orbot and Cubot are in the London Olympics game.
Oh, seriously, are they?
Yeah, it's just a small cameo. They basically handle the measurements of the long jump.
It kind of reminds me, there's an episode of AOSTH where they have the Robo Olympics, and that's kind of what Scratch and Grounder did. Orbot and Cubot are probably the closest thing we're ever going to get to an official Scratch and Grounder.
Well, you say that, but there was that Mean Bean Machine game that actually had Scratch and Grounder in it.
It did, but that was just, all that was because there was a Japanese game called, puzzle game called Puyo Puyo, I believe, and just all they did was they took that game, but to sell it better in the Western market, they just attached the AOST's version of Eggman to it. Like, as far as I'm aware, I don't think, with the exception of Sonic Mega Collection, I don't think that game was ever released in Japan. Same with actually the Mega Drive version of 3D Blast got its first release in Japan in Sonic Mega Collection for the GameCube.
Wow.
Exactly. It wasn't ever. I think the only version that was released was the Saturn version. Which, thinking about it, is probably why Jun Sonoi remixed music from it for SA1.
That does make a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. But back to Asteroid Coaster.
Man, they love this like falling down and dodging mines thing, because they've used it in Unleashed, this, and Generations.
Yeah. Well, I guess, you know, they kind of like the grinding and stuff. They probably just tried to. They made it part of his like level design, but like the fact that it's used sparingly. Like I can only think of this and Starlight Carnival where they use it. Are there any other levels in Generations? In Colors they use it.
Planet Wisp.
Oh yeah, Planet Wisp.
I mean, I like it. I think it's a great gimmick personally, but I hope they don't like rely on it too much. You know, I hope they use it sparingly and whatnot.
I will say, I love, to go off topic, I love the section they use it for in Modern Chemical Plant.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was used very effectively. Now forget, do we see Frenzy underwater here, Tom?
Well, not in this playthrough you won't, but you can actually use Frenzy underwater. You have to activate it while you're standing still though. If you try and activate it while you're floating through the water, the wisp will just like up and vanish, which is very inconvenient.
You see, every time you see me, it just makes me laugh.
Frenzy!
Just the way he jumps about is hilarious.
It's a good job they put guardrails in, otherwise you'd just be flying off the edge of the stage.
Yeah, he is like, as kind of uncontrollable as he is in 2D, he's he's almost unplayable in 3D. It's a good thing they keep him on very narrow paths.
Yeah.
Because he would be like, if you were to play Frenzy in a completely 3D like environment, be almost unplayable. So Tom, because we're coming to the end of Asteroid Coaster, how would you rank it?
It's probably one of my least favourite levels in the game. Aesthetically, it just doesn't really do it for me. I prefer the bright, colourful worlds like Sweet Mountain and Planet Wisp.
But would you say that? But like, you say it's one of your least favourite. Would you say? But does that mean you actively dislike it, or you just like it less than the others?
Well, there's no world in colours that I actually dislike. It's just not my favourite.
Exactly. That's kind of how I feel about it in terms of gameplay. Starlight Carnival. Like, it's not a terrible level. It's just not as good as the others. Okay, we're actually coming up to one of my favourite cutscenes in the entire game.
Oh god, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, see, now what's wrong with this cutscene?
It's corny, Gareth. The cutscenes are corny.
I like this cutscene because it's Sonic. Because like, I like the fact that a lot of people complain that like Sonic never shuts up in this game, but I like the fact that when like serious stuff starts to happen, he stops making jokes.
Well, yeah, I can appreciate that, but it's just the jokes, they need to be more concise, and they just go on and on.
Well, I would argue he's not actually making jokes in this one.
It's a clear attempt to be funny.
I would actually. This is more a case of Sonic showing off. Because I mean, what he does here, the one-armed push-ups. Like, if you attempt that, that's one of the most intimidating things you can actually do to someone. Though I do love that line though. There's no shame in it. Well, maybe a little shame.
Do they even have any concept of intimidation?
Well, see, they're robots, and I would imagine they haven't been programmed with much personality. So you could make the argument that Sonic's basically talking to something that can't hear him.
Are you talking to the robot who can't hear you?
See, that line's awesome.
Tails is the one who gets the most laughs out of me in this game.
I like the fact that I do, in terms of his character, I like the fact that they matured him from the fact that, you know, like Sonic's like sidekick and fanboy in like SA1, SA2. So like, where he's still impressed by Sonic, but like you get the fact that after so many adventures, he's not impressed as easily anymore. He's
a sarcastic bastard, and I love it.
I love that. Just, are you talking about that? You mean the broken robot who can't hear you? Okay, I think I've said this before, but this is my favourite boss fight of the three types.
Ah yes, here you go. Here's where you can use Rocket.
Here you go, Rocket, and just destroy the fuck out of it. Look at that! Look how much special bonuses you get there. It's genius.
I still think I don't get an S rank by the end of this, which is insane.
You don't get an S rank?
I'm pretty sure I don't.
You clearly weren't spamming the sidestep enough.
Well, after a certain point, you can't gain bonuses from doing the sidestep anymore.
That sucks. Actually, I don't think I've commented on. You know the kind of semicircle on the robot. In pre-releases of the game, a lot of people saw those on some of Eggman's machines and assumed that was something to do with the wisps.
Oh, the eye.
Yeah, the eye. And a lot of people assumed that was going to be something to do with the wisps, and some people thought that the wisps were going to turn evil at the end. But if you go back, that's actually a staple of Eggman's machines. Like, if you go back and play Egg Fleet in Sonic Heroes, most of the big ships in it have the eye as well. So it's actually more of a Eggman staple than it is to do with anything with the wisps.
Oh, yeah, you got a good point though.
Although the idea of the wisps, well, not so much turning evil, but having to fight wisps was used in the DS version in a completely redundant post-credit boss fight.
Really random, actually.
It is kind of random. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, to be perfectly honest with you.
Look how many points I got. I still didn't get an S rank.
Okay, well, you probably weren't quick enough and you got hit. Probably, I don't know.
Done it without you, buddy.
I think we've said this before, but in terms of the cutscene music, I do like the compositions. I just wish the actual quality of the fake synth didn't sound so bad.
It is kind of forgettable.
Well, it's the same kind of synth style they use in Unleashed. Where again, like the actual melodies themselves are perfectly fine, and some of the music tracks actually sound really good. It's just it doesn't sound like instruments in the slightest.
Weapon you were shot with still works.
Look at those waterfalls of limeade.
It looks like Jello.
Well, Jello, limeade, it's all good.
We need Bill Cosby to talk about Jello. Swim in the Jello.
If you brought him here, I think he'd die happy.
That'd be hilarious. Bill Cosby should totally do a voice in the next Sonic game. Make Bill, dude. Bill Cosby as Professor Pickle.
How about the whisper announcer? Hey, we're gonna use the frenzy, yeah.
Sweet! The tractor beams are gone. The planets are free.
Was there ever any doubt?
No, I forget. Where's the cutscene where Tails says "dude"? Because I know you really dislike that.
No, it's this one, and I actually love him saying dude. It's weird, don't get me wrong, but it just sounds so right coming out of Tails.
Head home. We did it, dude.
We? I don't remember you fighting off any insane robots.
True. Well, good job to you.
I love the fact that at this point here, he's basically calling Sonic an idiot.
And figure out exactly what we
He's
need
basically
to
saying,
do so we
without me and my smarts, you'd have been fucked.
Oh no, wait.
That was me. Yeah.
Well, Sonic is strong, but what he does best is running fast.
We as best is running fast and blowing up robots and then talking to their cold, dead corpses.
Well, that's just the way Sonic rolls, Gareth. Please join us next time for the finale of Sonic Colors in Terminal Velocity. See you then.
I think we're their guests of honor.